All right, first and foremost, give all praise to you, how about Shimon Shabbat and give a sincere greeting to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity. I'm Brother Phoenix with Prince of Power Israelites, giving you a short lesson. I've been MIA for a minute, but still adjusting to a few things going on in my personal life. But in that, in this new furnace, in this new wilderness, I'm thankful for the new lessons and the new insight that the Most High has bestowed through the Spirit has bestowed on me in me understanding the attributes of the Most High. And I want to begin this lesson. This is just a lesson just off of dealing with ungratefulness. Being naive to some of the things that the Most High is doing for us, providing for us, keeping us from, sheltering us from, navigating us around, maneuvering us around, all the problems, all the little small things that we just take for granted. And it's just to help us cherish him more and appreciate him more when we don't cherish those things. I mean, when we don't take those things for granted. And one of the stories I wanted to bring to you is this. It's a stepdad situation, okay? I grew up with a single father, and my mother ended up remarrying somebody who was a little more wealthier than my dad. Well, none of them were wealthy, but he had more money. He had more money than my dad, bigger house. And of course, my mom was way more lenient than my dad. Right? My mom, she wouldn't tell me no. And a lot of the stuff she wouldn't tell me no for is because of the neglect, and maybe some guilt she felt from neglecting her child, her child in the early parts of me growing up, and leaving my father to be a single father in her signing her rights away and giving them to my dad. And it came points in my life where if my dad told me that I couldn't do something, I would look towards my mom and I would try to figure out a way to get it done. If I can just get over to my mom's house, I know my mom would allow me to do it, even though my dad has told me firmly that no, you're not going to do it. I'm not allowing you to do it. Say, for instance, i.e. me, him giving me the car for the night. Me getting the car. And, usually if I'm going to get the car, I'm probably going to try to, my high school years, man, try to smash what a little, we were teenagers trying to do. But my mom would allow me to do it. I could just ask my mom for the car and she would give me some, make sure you wasn't protection, and would let me ride out and, take her car, nice town car. But my stepdad had a nice little Lincoln town car. Would let me take that and, do what I need to do. And they had like a separate house for me to do that wickedness in. And I see that same thing with Israel. I see that same thing with Israel, and how when our Father tells us that we can't do nothing, how the Most High, our Creator, tells us that we can't do nothing, that we can't do something, and we go out and search for other deities, or we search out the ways of this world, or we look into other philosophies, and we'll deal with that. Because that will make that a lot. That would allow you to fulfill your lust. It's a little more lenient. It's not as strict. It's not as many regulations. And so anytime we get mad at our parent, and a lot of times we do this, man, And we have to see these attributes and understand why the Most High constantly tells us. Matter of fact, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 5. We're going to go to Ezekiel 16. Ezekiel chapter 16 too. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6, it says, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, that is in earth beneath, that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children of the third and fourth generations of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And you see that verse 6, at least I done came across at least 7-8 times. I am the one that brought thee out of Egypt. Okay, remember the testimonies of the Lord. I am the one that led you into the wilderness and fed you with the manna for 40 years, trying to help you remember that who is your true provider before you go play the harlot with these other deities. See, I didn't understand as a child who that true provider was, being my dad, stepping up, becoming a single father, taking care of the daily duties. And then you have my mother that'll come in and just be like, let me pick him up and take him to Chuck E. Cheese. Let me pick him up and buy him this. And let me pick him up and buy him this. But the daily routine, the daily grind was done by my father. And because of the temporary enjoyment, the temporary dopamine release in my brain, just having the fun and playing and kicking the bobo. I took what I did. I took what my father was doing for granted. And now being older, I can understand that and say, well, dang, I wonder, I know how that feels now. I know how he felt. And then at the same time, you want your child to have a little fun. But the Most High is telling us that he's a jealous God. He don't want to kill you. He don't want to destroy you. And so sometimes he just lets you over to your own lust. Sometimes he'll just lead you over to that. And we'll see that in Romans. Let's jump there real quick. Romans 1:28, I want to say. I want 28. The 28 is what I want. I'm sorry, y'all. 28 is what I want. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do the things which are not convenient. And so sometimes the Most High let you learn your lesson. Sometimes you have to allow that child to go and see this. And that's when I grow up to, or even to this point, me understanding that there's some things that you can't explain to a child. You just have to let the child go through it. You can try to try to explain it to the kid, but the kid's so naive to the dealings of what it takes to put food on that table. They're very naive to the dealings of, working 8, 9 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, being on the road, you know what I'm saying? Trying to provide for your family. Say you're a truck driver, you on the road trying to provide for your family, and the kid's naive to the point that you're not able to make it to their games. And holding some grudge against you because they don't really understand how much you have to sacrifice in order for them to even be able to play football. And for their mother to be at home mom where she can take them back and forth to the games and be a team mom and, bring snacks and stuff for the teammates, etc. And you'll try to explain these things, but the child really don't understand it because They're just not, they just have no idea what it takes. They think school is tough, but they don't know that 9 to 5, not getting paid what you're worth, struggling for crumbs, struggling to keep the lights on. We just naive to those things. And me growing up, man, I remember calling my dad one time, telling him that the lights were off, like he didn't know. I called him on the phone. Dad, man, the power off. Dad. You know that. And I can imagine how he felt doing that. And I'm saying, and I make those apologies, just being naive to those things. But I'm saying all this to say that we're naive to all the things that the Most High does for us. How he keeps us covered. Just you driving, just the fact that you made it home from work, just the fact that you woke up, just the fact that you lived another day, you're dealing with certain ailments that could possibly kill you, that have killed others. You've been brought through so much. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that you're breathing, right? Just the fact that your heart's pumping. You have so many things to be grateful for with the Most High that, when something don't fall through, we get upset and we'll go to other deities. Well, how can the Most High really exist and he let, one of my parents pass? Or he let you let my, my significant lover, you let my husband pass, you let my wife pass. We have so much to be grateful for. That we were brought this far. We don't deserve to be alive. None of us. Because of our adultery, because of how we've played the harlot, and we've been disobedient and continue to be disobedient, ungrateful. How many times has he told you, I'm the one that brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage? How you gonna turn your back on me and go love another? Let's look at Ezekiel, and we'll close out with this. It's a lot longer than I actually thought it would be. But I haven't talked to y'all in a while. And I'm just gonna start teaching more like this too, man. Just talking, man. Not going through a whole plethora of precepts. But just talking to make sure we understand some of the attributes of the Most High and what's being thought in this text. Watch how he feels about us now. Ezekiel 16. Let me find a good place for us. Matter of fact, let me just start it. I'm gonna start at verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord God of Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is in the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, thy mother was a Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thou navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supply thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pity thee to do any of these things, any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee. But thou was cast in an open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. So, in the Most High just explaining almost a poetic speech here, but that you was just a baby that was pretty much like a baby that was just cast into a trash can, almost like a crack baby or a teenage baby, or somebody that didn't want the child and they just tossed the child into a trash can. I know Tommy Davis, the comedian, has a testimony like that where he was dumped in the trash can and these Edomites found him and end up raising him. But he had a rough testimony like that. But this is Israel. All right, this is the Israel dumped into this trash can, and the Most High is telling you, like, man, listen, I washed y'all and purged y'all. Watch the speech now. Verse 7. Let's just, verse 7. Matter of fact, Shalakia, Let's go to verse 6. And when I passed by thee, and I saw thee polluted in thy own blood, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field. Thou hast increased and waxen great. Thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. Now when I pass by thee and look upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee and cover thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee and enter into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine, and I washed thee with water, yea, thoroughly washed away thy blood with thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I covered thee with all of these great things. So let's go continue down, and I'm gonna read this whole chapter. Verse 17. Let's drop down to verse 17. Thou hast also taken thy fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I have given thee, and made of thyself images of men, and didst commit whoredom with them, and took of thy broidered garments, and coveredest them, and thou hast set mine oil and my incense before them. My meat also I gave thee, fine flour and oil and honey, therewith I fed thee. Thou hast even set it before them for a sweet savor. And thus say it was, saith the Lord God. Moreover, thy daughters and thy sons, thy daughters whom thou hast born unto me, thou hast sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter? Is this really a small matter? Like, how great is this for you to sacrifice your daughters that I gave thee? And this is what the Most High is pretty much saying here in Ezekiel 16. You need to read this whole chapter, though. Read the whole chapter. But what he's breaking down is that I gave you all these things. I made you. I turned you. It's almost like today, a joker getting one of these little thoughts off somebody with some money, trying to wash up one of these little thoughts. She was working at Walmart, you know what I'm saying, probably stripping a little bit at night, probably had an OnlyFans. Joker had some money, washed her up, got her right, and then when he cleaned her up and got her together, she left and went and tried to, play the harlot with somebody else that's on a lower standard, and tried to bring Pookie up. You know what I'm saying? Went back and then went and got and messed with a dope boy who really wasn't even on like that. Just somebody who was in here trying to, sell some little weed, and you done brought her up to, 5-star rating. You got her riding around in Rolls Royces, and she done went and messed with some joker on the street corner trying to drop his mixtape, and played the harlot with him, and had him driving around in your Rolls Royce that you gave him. This Israel. That woman is Israel. Giving the credit giving those things that the Most High allotted for you, that how he washed you and made you and turned you into this great nation, and you go and play the harlot with these other nations that are just, these other deities that are nothing to the Most High, and you're ungrateful and naive. And we just need to understand it. Just back to the Deuteronomy 5 and 6 and 7, that he's a jealous God, man. Visiting the iniquities of the children of their fathers to the third and fourth generation. We have to understand that, and just be grateful for the air we breathe in, man, for another day to exalt the Most High. I know we going through a lot. Everybody's going through a lot. Everybody got problems. Everybody's suffering losses. And so, what I'm saying, we just have to be mindful, especially in times like this, that, we have so much to be grateful for. All right. Even in the losses, we still have so much to be grateful for. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.